universal shifts that's happening in terms of uh, the level of disturbance that people are feeling in their personal world. And some might get voice memos with people actually crying about this woman being shot. And breaks my heart to hear that we live in a world where there is so much pain and suffering. So I've been meditating on this and things related in our spiritual life on how to uh, go through this kind of shifts in the world, because it becomes very personal very quick, because the nature of the world, the way it is designed, this kind of news spreads very fast. So I thought, let's have a little discussion and some interaction about this topic and how we can process it and how we can absorb it and not be affected by it. So Radha Priti, did you get any messages with people complaining about what's happening in the world or sharing their pains with you?
Um,
Are you stuck in your little bubble that?
yeah, no, I don't know that I've had a lot of conversations around it with students, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I did see I was just looking at this article about these Buddhist monks that are walking across the country for
Hmm.
peace,
Yes.
which is kind of beautiful. I was just reading in this article, they're walking from like Texas to DC just to promote peace. And they said, we walk not to protest, but to awaken the peace that already lives within each of us. It's kind of a beautiful thing. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's really nice. It's really nice. You know, I was just not sure who I was speaking to. I speak to so many people every day. We were just sharing that. Oh, actually, it was yesterday. I went to North Atlanta to visit uh, one of the devotees. She just went through some surgery where they had taken part of her vocal cords. Something happened, some cancer had entered that space. So I just wanted to be there to support her. And interestingly, you know, the whole discussion, people came to visit, and big discussion about what's happening in the world. And I generally don't indulge in this kind of topics because it doesn't solve any uh, it doesn't soothe the pain that people are feeling. And the conclusion of that discussion, I remember, it was very, for me, it was very clear that we live in a world by design, by definition, the world Kali Yuga means there's going to be quarrels, there's going to be hypocrisy, there's going to be disturbances. That is by design what the term Kali Yuga means. And for us to think that we will get anything else other than that is very wishful thinking. And it's good. We should always be hopeful. But to allow a societal change or a civilizational event to enter into our personal space and live in that space of fear, You cannot believe there was at least 6 people in that room that said that I'm afraid to go out of my house. And they live in this fancy big homes. And nothing happened around their neighborhood or in the city, but something happened in the world. But the civilizational shift has entered into a personal space. And that personal space shrinks and limits our ability to function. So I thought that was so painful to see. And therefore, when we see the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna and Arjuna are having this beautiful dialogue, it's Krishna doesn't guarantee Arjuna peace. He doesn't he doesn't say that, you do this and all your problems will be solved. He actually makes it very clear about how the nature of this world is and how to live in this world and yet be detached from the results of one's actions in this world. So I thought that was very interesting how, cosmic, such civilizational shifts become so personal. And it makes us shrink into a small space. And how Krishna is saying, uh, why? Why are we allowing events happening in the world affect the infinite possibility and the capability of the soul and the peace that is there within? As you're saying, these monks are talking about the peace within. And this is what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita. It's very important that it is nothing outside. So, what was your realization about the monks?
Oh, realization about the monks. I don't know that I had a realization about the monks, but my meditation this week has been quite a bit on this compassion, and in even loving those that don't treat us well or don't treat the world well, or and just seeing their suffering and and trying to have compassion for them. And that's been my prayer all week, actually. And my realization around that is that to the degree that we can cultivate a level of compassion for like people that are our perpetrators, we're set free and we feel lighter and more joyful and more connected. And I think that's just such a blessing of spiritual life. And it seems like the monks are trying to, the Buddhist monks are trying to share that with people and get people to that level of realization. And it's a beautiful thing, and monks Buddhism is, it's not the whole picture, it's part of the picture. It's a start. Buddhism, they don't worship a personal God. They're more kind of like into the void of, all beings are connected, which is great, which is a partial picture, and I have appreciation for that. But I yeah, I guess that's my realization. What's your realization, Prabhu?
About the Buddhists?
Any of it?
The best secret that one of the best secrets that I study from the Bhagavad Gita, it is a constant repetition that we see in that dialogue. There's constant hints that anything that is attached to the outside world is going to create is going to create this sensation of fear within us. And that fear within us, by design, neuroscience and spiritual science explains that we are designed to always experience fear. That is how we respond. The body responds, is a response of fear. And Krishna in the Gita, in the dialogue with Arjuna, he expresses that fear, which is constant companion of the soul in the material world, is something that uh, once you recognize it, that is fear which is dominating our choices in our life and decisions in the world, then we are able to uh, figure out ways by taking shelter of a higher purpose in life. And that purpose, Krishna explains to Arjuna as the principle of dharma, that you're essentially connected to your purpose in life, which is greater than the physicality and your psychology and everything in this world. And each and every one of us are sent, or we have come here with that unique purpose that no one else have. And that connection and finding that purpose in life actually dissolves the emotion of fear in this world. And you're able to then live a life of complete spiritual freedom and freedom in this world. Otherwise, we feel trapped. This world is a trap for the mind and the senses and the intelligence, but it is actually the gateway for the soul to reach the pinnacle of spiritual success. So, those are my thoughts on this particular point. But the world that we're living in, I don't know if anyone else is feeling it. The more you indulge with it, the more you're going to experience fear. And the more you stay connected with the world and constantly remain in the mood of service, in the mood of realizing that I have a unique contribution that is my dharma in this world. And so, what is that unique contribution that I need to make in this world?
So you're saying instead of sticking our head in the sand and being completely ignorant of what's going on, and also instead of like getting overly involved and just watching the news all day, what we should really focus our energy on is how we can be a conduit of change.
Yes, yes. Or go with the universal plan. I mean, when you look at a ship in the ocean, the ship doesn't try to stop the waves. The ship navigates the waves, and that's why it's able to sail. The fishes in the water are not trying to stop the waves. The birds in the sky are not trying to stop the wind. Only the humans, our ego forces us to feel we can stop everything and everything is going to go my way. And because this mindset that we have that everything has to go my way, then we feel stuck in this world.
So what
Because
does that look like
it's
then?
a formidable force you cannot fight. It
What
is
does
not
it look
easy
like to swim with it, Veda?
to realize that there's a divine being who has created this incredible place. This is a beautiful stage the world is for us to do a divine dance. So stop your drama and get on the stage. Get in on God's plans, on divine plans, and dance. You know, I used to do dramas when I was young, and they used to, we didn't have a choice. So in the plays, I had to always be a girl. I was never, I never had any role other than a girl. And, you know, I ever asked for a boy's role or a guy's role, I never got one. And I remember they used to do this play called the Rasa Dance, the divine dance of love. And I was a gopi. I was a girl dancing. And I remember I had a thorn in my foot and I still had to dance. And so I would always limp and I would look funny in this whole dance. Everyone is synchronized dancing and I would dance and I would look so funny. And everyone was looking at this dance thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Why can't he just keep the rhythm and just, dance with everyone? And so I kept thinking to myself later on how in the material world, when you dance, when you're not in the dance, you're missing out. You have to you have to join the dance. And, you know, of course, that divine dance needs surrender, it needs humility, it needs patience, it needs tolerance, needs acceptance. Those are all the dance moves. You dance with patience, you dance with humility. These are all dance moves. These are all spiritual dance moves. And we have to learn, because if we don't learn these dance moves, then we're going to be caught up in our drama in the world.
Mm.
So, this is what bhakti is all about. Bhakti is about learning the proper spiritual dance.
Prabhu, can it also be that since we consider ourselves to be this body, we get caught up in the emotions of what is going outside in the world, as opposed to us recognizing and acknowledging that we are uh, spirit souls? As I think it was in chapter 13, where it talks about nature, consciousness, um, and how we the reason we suffer is because we identify ourselves with the body. I am a male, I am a female, or I am this person. And if something happens, uh, it impacts me psychologically, because then I am also this mind, because I'm this body. But if we realize that we're all spirit souls, and we try to disidentify or disassociate with the body, we would be less bothered by what is going outside externally, and we would be able to perhaps respond in a better way.
Yes, Divyesh, thank you for sharing that. Yes, all the drama is happening on the physical and the mental platform. That's where the drama is. And that drama of suffering, anxiety, sadness, joy, this is all drama in the material world, because the soul is beyond this happiness and distress and the material pleasures. The soul is inside of this body, rejoicing in divine pleasures. The divine dance is not in the world. Divine dance is an internal dance. Geography is not uh, is limiting to the physical body and the physical mind. The soul is boundless. And so therefore, when we restrict the nature of the soul, that's where we feel suffocated and pain and suffering. We have limited ourselves to this material world. Can you imagine me locking you up in a 4x4 room? How would you feel? You'll feel suffocated. You'll get claustrophobic. So this material world that we're in, this little body that we have, this mind that we have, we are restricting ourselves in such a tight space that we're suffocating ourselves and we're holding the door shut and we're complaining. Where in all reality, there is no one holding you hostage. And this is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. That please don't be a hostage. And it's questioning you, asking you to ask yourself, why are you holding yourself hostage? Why have you incarcerated yourself? Please ask yourself these questions, because bhakti is a practice. It is boundless. When we read the writings of the Goswamis, the sages, you see they are living under a tree, wearing a loincloth. Their physical bodies are emaciated. And they are the most happiest, and the whole world is seeking to be close to them. What is it that they have? Why did those sages in Vrindavan give up palaces and kingdoms to live under a tree? I'm not recommending that all of you do that. I'm just giving an example that the limitations that we put is self-inflicting, and we have to recognize that. So when you're saying, yes, what you're saying is of tremendous value, Divyesh. You're studying the Gita and you're reading the Gita, and this is what is needed. Reading the Gita every single day is like taking bath in the Ganga. And I will just summarize this concept just very briefly. Why I want to emphasize this point is the wisdom texts like the Gita, the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially these three series of wisdom texts. Of course, there's unlimited volumes of them. Very unique. Bhagavad Gita, maybe I'm going on a tangent, you can stop me, Radha. Bhagavad Gita is a text spoken by Krishna in a dialectic process with his friend Arjuna. And this great saint Shankaracharya, who is the founder of Advaita Vedanta philosophy, he expresses that Krishna is a cowherd boy from Vrindavan. And cowherd boys, they milk the cows with their hand. And the cows generally are considered to be the most sacred animal because it has very, very elevated consciousness. And because of elevated consciousness, Krishna, the cowherd boy, he likes the cows because they have a conscious connection. You have to keep in mind in our relationships, it is the level of consciousness with which we connect with one another is what builds relationships. Not the physiology, not the psychology. It is the consciousness from the heart. So Krishna and the cows, Krishna is milking this cow. And what is this cow? This cow is all the wisdom texts put together, all the Upanishads. That is considered the cow. And why is the cow so sacred and why is the Upanishad so sacred? Because they provide the nectar that is assorted and accumulated from every aspect. from every space. So the cow eats all the nutrients, selecting all the nutrients, every single herb and plant from the vast jungle. And what does the cow do? Provides milk. So, what is Krishna doing? He is churning, he is milking all the Vedic wisdom and all the knowledge in the world, and he's milking it. For who? To feed it to Arjuna. Why to Arjuna? Because Arjuna is confused, he's attached, and this shift, this cosmic shift, the world war, completely bewildered Arjuna's consciousness, and he's lost. So Krishna feeds him this potion that removes the ignorance from Arjuna's world. And that is what the Bhagavad Gita is. So Divyesh, the fact that you're reading Bhagavad Gita every day, this is what you're doing. You are actually drinking the potion that removes ignorance from our lives. So anyway, so this is what Bhagavad Gita is. It is the potion that removes the ignorance. And then the next wisdom text that I was mentioning is Srimad Bhagavatam Purana. This Purana has 12 volumes, and it's very fascinating because these 12 volumes, they talk about how to enjoy the rasas. It talks about how to enjoy life. So beautiful. Talks about the 5 rasas, Santa Dasa, Dasya, how to experience love on 5 deepest platforms, on deepest levels. And who are experiencing that? Who can experience those 5 levels of love? Those 5 levels of love are being experienced by those who are seekers of the truth. Only those that are seeking the absolute truth, they're called bhaktas. They are able to relish these 5 deepest levels of love. And of all the deepest levels of love that is being experienced, the topmost is the love in separation. Okay? And now, can you imagine you and God? You are experiencing such deep love that even God cannot experience. And that degree of love is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam gives you the secret of experiencing love that even God cannot experience. That's pretty wild. And that is there in this 12-volume Srimad Bhagavatam. And so therefore, the third series of texts called the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is there because God is thinking, what are all these people experiencing? Why am I want to experience what they're experiencing. So what does God decide? The divine being personally decides to come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a devotee, as a seeker of the truth, to experience the love that the devotees are experiencing. So you see, this whole science of bhakti is very beautiful because as soon as illusion is out of the way, and that is what Bhagavad Gita is, as soon as illusion is out of the way, you're able to experience love that even God has to come to be with you to experience the love that you're experiencing. This is what this wisdom text, this is the garland of devotional texts. It goes a full circle. So, I went a little bit off topic. So, the world that we live in now, is a world that is not ours. That is a world that belongs to the body and the mind. And we belong to a world within this body, in the center of the heart, where we are supposed to continuously be drinking this nectarian flow of divine love that is not available anywhere else in the world other than in the innermost chambers of your heart. So, Radha, what do you think? Did I go off topic?
No, Prabhu, I just want to sit and listen to you all day. It's beautiful. I've heard it like the Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's is God's identity. The Srimad Bhagavatam is like God's activities, and then the Chaitanya is God's mentality.
It's too philosophical for me.
I feel like that's super simple.
For
It's
me, for
like
me, it's
bam,
like
bam, bam.
Bhagavad Gita is the milk, Srimad Bhagavatam is the butter, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is
The cream.
coming together, the cream that is made from the milk turned into butter into a cream. So I like food, so that's how. At least one of the sages who likes food also, he presents it like this.
I like that. I like that too.
Shankaracharya, he started it. He started saying, Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Geetam Mritam Mahat. And there he explains the Bhagavad Gita as the milk.
Really nice. Yeah, and it's like we have to get through our own attachments and our own fears to really have access to these higher dimensions, right?
Yeah. The whole point of life is actually not to indulge with the world,
Mm,
not to indulge with the world, to actually live in this world. Can you imagine you're seeing everything happen in this world, but you're in another world? How cool is that?
mm,
But you're also in this world. You're working, you're living a normal life, but yet you have created a sacred space within this world inside.
mm. Yeah, I was watching TV with my dad this week. I'm visiting my dad. I don't usually watch TV, but I was watching with him. And I was noticing every single commercial is like some kind of pill or shot or, like depression, weight loss, like just it's like it's all just it's kind of depressing, and I'm kind of thinking like, wow, that's what this has amounted to. It's like try to prevent getting older, try to prevent disease, try to, run away from escape from depression and take a pill so you can lose weight. And it's so crazy.
And the world that I just was visiting, I was telling, I think it was Vrajaraj in the ashram, or the boys yesterday. We had a little chat, and I was just sharing with them how the village that I went to visit, do some reconnection. My observations, just to summarize it, was I have learned how these people who are villagers, you know, the villagers, thousands of acres are being cut for timber and plantations of other things. And, the wilderness, the nature is being destroyed. Elephants are coming back begging for food in the villages. Interesting, chaotic world that these villagers are subjected to. But the three things that I learned from them is their patience, tolerance, and acceptance.
Mm,
These villagers, they have so little material possessions, so little. You probably have enough to sustain a whole village. You probably make enough, you know, that the whole village doesn't make. But their quality of life, their realizations is so deep. Every time you talk to someone, they always look up at the sky and says, he has provided everything. Are you okay?
mm,
And their question is, how can you not be okay under his care?
Mm.
What if this person never shows up? They're like, no, no problem. We have all the time. He will show up. I mean, their level of acceptance, surrender, and patience. I was just like, when I get hungry, I become a little impatient. And I just, somehow it like overtakes my mind.
Mm.
Like when I'm hungry, I need to eat now. Like my stomach becomes like this, this voice so loud that won't shut up till I, put something in my gut.
Did I hear you say you're cold?
And so it was very interesting. I was hungry and I wanted to eat. And I said, hey, where's the food? And so many people came in this village events to see and meet and see what I was all about. So there are so many people cooking. And they said, please, Prabhu, please just wait and we'll provide you nice hot meal. So I waited 5 minutes and I was like, okay, I'm hungry. I need to eat. 10 minutes, I need to eat. And I just said, just give me one item. I just need to eat. And it's morning breakfast. And there's like 25 different items for breakfast. And then I was just thinking how 10 minutes of patience is all they had asked for to give me a big feast, you know?
Mm.
And how in the material world we have so little patience. In the world that we live in today, we have so little patience for anything. When you travel in India, in other countries, you see how people just rush. Before the plane lands, everyone unbuckles and starts standing up to take their bags, and they think they can get out of the plane faster. And I'm like, wow, you know? So it's so little patience. But these are spiritual attributes that we have to really learn. Because unless we learn these dance moves, we're not going to be able to get into the divine dance. Patience and their ability for tolerance, my God. Physical pain, they're tolerant. Mental pain, you know, pain coming from nature, they just tolerate. Landslides, floods, no problems. And and these people are not even, some people will call them, they're not spiritual, but they're like so divinely connected because they're so close to nature. So these are, my realization that the simplicity of the world and the technologically advanced world is just constantly try and change the course and fight against the current, try and change the waves of the ocean, try and change the direction of the wind so that
Mm.
it can be my way. So this is where the struggle is. And so in essence, our lives, if we can consciously be aware, because we are consciousness. Consciousness is not somewhere else. To engage with the consciousness that we are and allow to see the world through that consciousness. That is pure. That is ananda, pure love. So this is where all these problems that we see in the world becomes very trivial and it doesn't affect us because you are going to hear the news, whether you like it or not. Someone's going to tell you about it. Someone had something else they wanted to add before we have 10 more minutes for questions. Anyone has questions? We can discuss some more.
There's a question here on the board. Andrea says, I just read a bit of Sri Aurobindo's the life divine and his saying of the universal force ever evolving into more complex structures, and that this universal force doesn't value if something is good or bad. Is this transformational universal impact into personal life Veda talked about seen in global events? What example did you mean, Veda, with the invasion of personal space? I'm not so sure I understand that question. Is Andrea on?
Andrea is on. Please share with us. Andreas, where are you? I think we may just have lost him for a second.
I think he had another message at the bottom saying he was getting off the
Oh,
train.
oh, okay. He's gotten to the train.
He's a
Okay.
he's an environmentalist from Austria.
Oh, okay.
Him and his partner, they met me in the kirtan in Rishikesh, and then we had a lot of deep discussions.
Well,
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question. That's okay.
Yes, please, please.
Because I was thinking about, you were saying like how things can affect us, but we also have a way how we respond to things. And isn't it so that if you can see it in a broader way, that you have a lot of ways to respond to things? I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying. It's not how you react, but it's more like an inner responsibility. Like I can internally react to something in a way because I've been programmed in that way, but there are more ways of seeing it. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm trying to say, but it's like you can respond to things, and because people can respond to things in a very different way. So if you can see that you can also do that within yourself, that will also change.
I'm sure you have a mechanism of dealing with it, but I noticed that sages, they actually don't even indulge. They don't even respond to the material world very much. They have such a beautiful world that's internal. They actually don't even respond to it. I
But
mean, how do you,
I mean, like it's not really responding outside, but changing the respond within you, how you respond to it, to like noticing it, being aware of what kind of mechanism you have within you, and then see that you can let go of it. Does that make sense?
Sure, sure. If you have a mechanism that you're not happy with, you can always shift because we all have different mechanisms. You're right. And the way we are brought up will have a different programming. And you can change that program. You can change that software. So the body is the hardware, the mind is the software, and the soul is the user. So now, from that perspective, if you look at our mind, is a software, and that software has been uh, programmed by so many people, and we can choose what software you want. And the whole process of bhakti is to seek teachers' guidance to get the most top-rated software so that you can actually function better and have more bandwidth, and it comes with antivirus, and that's why we always go to teachers and seek their guidance, because they're able to upgrade the software that we operate with. So that's needed. And so whatever programming that we have, that is normal. But if we can take the time to find a teacher who will actually help to upgrade that software. And this whole Sangha that we have worldwide, it is actually made, the system is made so that our software that we're operating on is constantly filled with antivirus programs so that the virus doesn't enter. And that's why the Sangha is so important. If we don't meet once a week, and guess what? There's going to be viruses coming in. This thought, this idea, that idea. The world is filled with programmings. Everyone in this world is trying to sell a program. And that's the nature of the world. But we have to be selective what program that is most suitable for this machine. You will be surprised. Even in Connecticut, I hear how many different spiritual modalities are there. Everywhere you go, everyone, try this, try that, this guru, this person, that person. It's just constant offerings of different softwares that you can try. So we have to be very careful and selective. And that's why I believe very much in choosing a software. We must come from an authentic disciplic succession, an authentic store, like the knowledge that is coming out, the software that we get, it should come from an authentic source. And there's a way to vet that source. And that is so important for us. Otherwise, you'll always get a lemon if you don't buy from the dealership. You don't know what viruses are in that laptop if you don't get it from the manufacturers. And so therefore, in our spiritual life, it is so important to always use our vetting process to authenticate the software that we allow it to, operate the system. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Sometimes I feel like I'm maybe speaking oranges and I should be speaking about apples. Radha, what do you think?
That was beautiful. I was picturing like the authentic Apple retailer. You have to go to like the authentic. I liked that metaphor that you used. Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. I was wondering, Veda, are you affected by the things in the world?
Every day. It comes to my door and I'm sad and then I have to pick myself out. I'm human. When I hear a woman get shot, my heart is broken and I have to fix it. I have to sit on the mat. I have to hear some spiritual discourses to to make sense of it. And that's why this Sangha is so important. We must always make time, whatever we're doing, once a week, whatever happens in our life, we don't miss. Like me, I listen every single day, minimum of 2 to 3 hours. It's part of my sadhana. I hear because I need the programming, the spiritual software, to keep this machine not being completely covered in malware. And this is where the lineage comes in, This is where disciplic succession comes in. This is where, when Krishna is talking to Brahma, he is explaining, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. We need the heart connections because that's where the software is downloaded. Because the software that, TV, all of this social media, all of these channels, they're giving you software that operates the mind and the senses and maybe the intelligence. But those who are connected to lineages of sages, they're giving us software to actually work on the heart. And that we need. And this is what the sanghas are all about. So yes, I'm definitely human. I'm affected. I cry. I'm sad. I'm happy. Those are all emotions because we live in a world. But the most beautiful thing about this world is that all these emotions are coming to teach us such valuable lessons, such valuable lessons. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Iveta has a question here that says, I was wondering if there's a way to uplift people to let them see how beautiful the world is.
Yes. The best way to do it is just embrace them and share them your inner world. Don't show them your mind, don't show them your ego, don't show them your senses, don't show them your intelligence. Show them your heart. That's the best way to lift people up and to encourage others. No one is encouraged and lifted by the mind and the senses. Those tools are not strong enough to withhold the power. The very thin thread. Like a thread cannot hold it. You need a rope, and the rope that connects one heart to another. Sometimes there is a term they use, Hridaya Granthi, the knots of the heart. So you need ropes. And the best way to do it is just to let people enter into your heart space. And that's how you encourage them. That's how you lift them up. Don't have, talks of the mind and the senses and the ego. What is that going to do? But if you really give somebody and speak from their heart, you don't even have to say anything. You can just go and play volleyball with them or, go for a walk with them and they feel lifted up. It doesn't have to be a whole sophisticated plan, what content you're going to present. Radha is always planning all the content she presents, and I don't ever plan anything. I just come and I just share what's inside.
None has evolved, Veda.
No, it's just because you're trained and I have, I just want to speak to people's hearts. So, any concluding words, Radha? Because our time is up.
No, it's beautiful. Sad our time is up. Thank you, Prabhu. My heart needed this today.
Any announcements? Okay. So today we're studying the Chitta Cleanse. For those of you who are joining the Chitta Cleanse, I think there's a half an hour break and then we'll start the Chitta Cleanse.
But now it's only 24 minutes.
4 minutes.
Sorry, Bull.
Okay. Thank you all very much. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And please bring your heart with you. And anyone who's connected to your heart, just connect with them and just pull them in. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
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 Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Hare Krishna.